You ever get a letter so ridiculous, so arrogant, that your first instinct is to laugh out loud and your next is to look around for the hidden camera? Because that's how my week started. Let me tell you, if you've never had a group of strangers in khakis try to steal your land using nothing but a fake map and a folder full of official-sounding nonsense, you haven't lived. Or maybe you've just made better choices than me. I still remember it like it was yesterday. I was out walking my fence line with a mug of coffee, boots crunching in the dew, when I spotted a bright envelope wedged in my gate. Certified mail, never a good sign. Turns out it was from the High Ridge Valley HOA. Now, if you're not familiar with those four little letters, count yourself lucky. HOAs, they say, keep neighborhoods tidy and safe. What nobody tells you is how fast some of them turn into petty little kingdoms run by folks who couldn't get enough drama from daytime TV. I wasn't part of any HOA. Never would be. In fact, when I bought this patchwork 40-acre spread, I made damn sure every inch was outside their grasp, no overlays, no zoning gray areas, nothing but me, my orchard, and a couple of stubborn deer. But here was this letter, stamped, signed, acting like my place was just waiting to be handed over for the good of the community. They wanted 60% of my Lammy land for regional amenities. Playgrounds, parks, a brand new administrative building, and my personal favorite, a community amphitheater. Like my apple trees had been longing to host Shakespeare in the park. At first, I honestly thought it was a joke. I called my old law school friend Dana up in Atlanta. She listened, got quiet, then said, "That's not just wrong, Cole, that's deranged." She helped me put together a response short, cold, and sharper than a barbed wire fence. I sent them every deed, every survey, even the notarized zoning history, just in case they wanted to try their luck in court. Didn't take long for the escalation. 5 days, to be exact. I was out planting a peach tree, hands in the dirt, when a black SUV rolled up. 3 people got out, 1 woman in a power suit and sunglasses that probably cost more than my tractor, and 2 muscle-bound guys in matching polos. She introduced herself as Karenoff course president of the High Ridge Valley HOA. I swear, she expected me to salute. She let me know, in no uncertain terms, that my attitude was disappointing and that she hoped I'd cooperate for the greater good. The guy next to her pulled out a map, started pointing at red scribbles, talking about infrastructure growth zones like he was selling me beachfront property in Nebraska. I didn't even let him finish. I took his map, ripped it clean down the middle, and handed it back. "You want to escalate? Fine, but you're not getting a damn inch of this land." They drove off, a little rattled but still full of themselves. I figured, okay, maybe that'd be the end of it. Just a bluff, just the usual HOA chest thumping. Nope. 10 days later, I came back from town to find a construction crew setting up shop on my east field. 4 trucks, excavators, a portable office, and a shiny banner announcing the future site of the High Ridge Valley Welcome Center. My orchard had turned into their parking lot overnight. I confronted the crew boss, a guy who looked about as enthusiastic as a man working overtime on Christmas Eve. "We were told this was HOA land, cleared and permitted," he said, handing me paperwork. I barely glanced at it, saw the wrong dates, a fake county clerk's signature I recognized from an old zoning case, and a notary stamp from 3 months before I even bought the land. Forged. Sloppy, too. I filmed everything on my phone, pointed to my ancient boundary, post-trusted, but legal, and with a clear placard. "Pack up," I told him. He did, but not before they'd torn up my topsoil and trampled my wildflowers. That's when it stopped being funny. I spent that night at my kitchen table, piecing together what you might call a war chest. Got Victor Santiago, a forensic doc guy, to analyze the so-called permit. Sent it to Lucy Grant, the best surveyor in 3 counties, to map every tire track. Started a logbook old school, handwritten, court-ready. Every action, every voicemail, every courtesy notice from the HOA, time-stamped and notarized. And the next morning, found 3 plastic lawn signs staked at the edge of my orchard, Future Site, Inspiration Park, serving all residents of High Ridge Valley. They didn't even try to hide their logo. I left them up, photographed them, GPS tagged them, left them like little trophies. I was already thinking ahead. 3 months later, at the crack of dawn, I woke to the sound of orchestral music echoing across my fields. I thought I was dreaming. I walked out on the porch, coffee in hand. Robe still owning. What do I see? A crowd of folding chairs, red and blue balloons, and a big white ribbon strung between 2 PVC poles. They'd paved my peach grove into a parking lot, stuck a pergola on my old pump shed, and labeled it the HOA administration office. Karen herself took the stage, cordless mic in one hand, glass of sparkling water in the other, and hair that hadn't seen real humidity in years. I walked up, didn't even bother to change clothes. When she said, "Together, we reclaim this land for the community," I cut her off. "Did you say reclaim?" My voice boomed through the microphone. Everyone turned. Karen smiled, like I was the guest of honor. "Mr. Bennett, I'm so glad you joined us." "Great, because I have something for you." I handed her a sealed envelope. Notarized notice of encroachment, a pre-filed civil claim for adverse trespass, and a property preservation affidavit with satellite photos, drone footage, and expert testimony. Every bit of it stamped, signed, and legal as death. The crowd got quiet. Someone muttered about lawsuits. I looked out over the crowd. "My name's Cole Bennett. I own this 40-acre parcel. It's not now and never has been part of the High Ridge Valley HOA. All this, you build it on stolen land." Karen tried to brush me off, claimed to have county permits. "No, you've got a fake permit based on a recycled sewer variance, and the state zoning board's already been notified." She looked like she'd swallowed a lemon. I turned and walked back to my porch, my land, my rules. That same afternoon, a local reporter called for an interview. The story hit the news the next day, drone footage and all. Residents started demanding answers. They'd been told it was all above board. But then a former treasurer showed up at my gate with a shoebox full of receipts, payments, contracts, records of HOA funds funneled into construction, all tied to Karen's husband's company. I digitized everything and sent it straight to my lawyer. Meanwhile, my old pal David, now a private investigator, dug through county records. Turns out the guy who signed my permit was Karen's cousin, an interim clerk using archive seals from a closed file. Not just a bad forgery, an obvious one. And then Ray, the treasurer, walked in with the last piece. Email slots of them. Karen and her board plotting, using phrases like quiet cooperation from the county and expand community territory under the radar. They've been planning this for months. We filed a civil lawsuit, 211 pages, 16 exhibits, 43 attachments. Names on the front: Karen Delwayne, Melvin Drake, 3 board members, 2 contractors, and High Ridge Valley HOA Incorporated charges: trespass, fraud, misrepresentation, malicious construction, and a damages claim for $10.8 million. The media caught fire. HOA members lost their minds. Dues had funded all this mess. The emergency meeting was chaos. Karen tried to blame contractors, then county officials, but the paper trail was undeniable. Dana filed for an injunction granted within 2 days. HOA operations Frozino staff. No events, not even a single soccer practice. Then one of the contractors flipped, offered evidence in exchange for immunity. We got blueprints, invoices, photos, every single detail. The case was airtight. Just when I thought it couldn't get any wilder, David uncovered county-level corruption. Permits had been approved by a clerk who, get this, accepted vacations from Karen's brother-in-law's firm. The FBI joined in. News vans lined the road. Zoning officials were led out in handcuffs, and the county clerk confessed to forging overlays and misallocating green space. When the trial finally started 204 days after the first trespass, I sat in court, hands steady. The prosecution brought witness after witness. Allison, The whistleblower described how parcel IDs were duplicated and mapped onto my orchard. The jury saw everything: maps, emails, audio from board meetings, even a recording of Karen herself saying, "By the time anyone files a complaint, the courts will be too slow to stop us." That one hit hard. Defense tried the usual: "We were misled. It's the county's fault. The consultants lied." Didn't matter. Then the Twista missing contractor showed up and admitted Karen had handed him a USB drive with fake boundary files. In court, Karen finally snapped, shouting accusations at her own witnesses. The judge called for order, and her own defense crumbled. The verdict: $10 million awarded in damages. Every inch of the illegal community center transferred to my ownership. Karen's accounts frozen. The HOA board dissolved. 2 zoning officials indicted. Karen herself? 12 years, no parole. The community center was gutted, repainted, and reopened as the gallery of La Mitza Free Museum about the dangers of unchecked power. Now, when I walk my orchard, I see the sun filtering through peach trees and the scar of a parking lot that's finally being reclaimed by grass. I get why people say owning land is freedom, but let me tell you, it's not free. It's a fight. And sometimes the wild is a lot more honest than the people who want to rule over it. Let me ask you something: where do you draw the line? When does community become tyranny? Have you ever had to stand your ground against someone who thought the rules didn't apply to them? I'd love to hear your take. Tell me if you've been there and what you did when your own slice of peace was on the line.
Cảm ơn tất cả các bạn đã xem video.